Hi, welcome to the Riverside Brookfield Educational Foundation Spotlight Series. Today with us we have senior Sophia Richter, who had such an amazing experience this summer with going to Costa Rica, and we can't wait to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
So welcome.
Thanks.
And can you first share some information as to what made you want to do the trip to Costa Rica and then what the trip was about?
Yeah, so initially I was kind of just looking at something to do out of the country because I was just like, I'd never been out of the country before, and that was just like something that really sparked a lot of interest for me. And I also was super interested in like environmental science related topics. So I spent a lot of time listening to podcasts and stuff over quarantine. And then I was like, you know what, like some of these ideas I'm really passionate about, like let me bring them to life instead of just listening to them. And so I did a lot of research on just different volunteer trips I could take, and then I came across this one through Global Leadership Adventures, which is the one that I went on. And it was a 10-day trip in Costa Rica. So we, the first like 2 days you kind of got oriented, and then after that it was kind of like 5 days of service. So you got paired with a service group based off what your interests were, and the one that I was grouped in was the turtle hatchery group. So I worked for 5 days at a turtle hatchery, decontaminating turtle nests. And then also I spent some time when we weren't decontaminating the turtle nest, we would go to this like really remote beach by mangroves and pick up the beach and take all the trash and then bring it back to a warehouse. Then at the warehouse we would sort it and then figure out what to recycle, what to donate, and things like that.
What was the process for decontaminating?
Actually, the process was really extensive. So the turtle hatchery is set up on a beach, and then all the nests are kind of like along on the sand, and then there's like a big shaded cloth above it to keep it shaded, because the main reason why they have the turtle hatchery is because of global warming, and the temperatures are too hot for turtles to sustain nests in like their natural habitat, so we have to make them artificially. And so then when we would decontaminate them, you'd have to dig about like a 6-foot deep hole into the sand and then haul all of that sand and bring it and dump it out somewhere else, and then take some clean sand and refill it up and then put the eggs on top.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And how was it all day?
So our service hours would go for like 4 to 5 hours in the morning. So we'd wake up pretty early in the morning and do it in the morning. And then the afternoons we'd either do other service stuff like going to the beach, or sometimes we'd join back together with the other service groups. So the other service groups, I know there was a community one, there was a gardening one, and then there was like a kind of like community cleanup one as well. And so we'd join back together with all the other service groups and do like fun activities in the afternoon.
And how, can you estimate how many turtles were there?
Well, while we were there, we were only able to see one turtle nest hatch. And the night that it hatched was actually the first night of our service. So that was really, really cool to see, just because we had spent all day doing like really intense labor, because hauling these buckets of sand is like, it's insanely heavy. So we came back after the trip, and it was like the first day, and we had like just blisters all over our hands. And so we were just like exhausted. We ate like a really nice dinner with just like fresh fruits and vegetables. And then afterwards we got a call, and they were like, you know, one of the nests is hatching right now, like come down to the hatchery right now if you want to see them. So once we got there, the sun was just starting to set, so it was like just this beautiful scenery of all the turtles being released out into the ocean with the sun setting. And then it had just rained too, so in the background there was like this big rainbow.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was really
that's
surreal.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
What a great memory.
Yeah.
Is that something you're passionate about? Is it environmental science is what you're passionate about?
Yeah, that's why I initially was looking out for the trip, because I'm planning on in the future majoring in environmental science. So yeah, definitely.
And what type of schools would provide that experience to you?
Right now, my top schools that I'm looking at that would provide that experience would be Colorado State and Michigan Tech. They both have really strong environmental science programs, as well as like off-site campuses. Like I know Colorado State has a mountain campus, so that's something that I'm really interested in. Yeah.
And what made you want to go into this? Was there something that sparked your interest, or is this something that you feel like you've always had?
I think for me, initially, it was around sophomore year. My friend was really pushing me to try a vegetarian diet just for like the benefits that it has for the environment. So that's kind of what initially sparked me to like start looking at like podcasts relating to like plant-based living, and then that segued into like learning about fast fashion and like low waste lifestyle, composting, and all those things. So I think that's what initially sparked kind of that interest, and then it just grew from there.
Are there specific things that you do at home in regards to environmental science?
Yeah, so I have a compost bin, so it's in our backyard, so anytime I have food scraps or anything, I'll put it in there. We also have a garden, so we use some of the compost for the garden in the summertime, obviously. And then I also live a mostly plant-based lifestyle, and then I also thrift shop most of my clothes, so everything that I buy is secondhand instead of buying something new. But yeah.
And what can you give some advice to people that just want to maybe just try one thing? Because I know trying to do it all at once, it might be overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people kind of get consumed by the idea that it's like all or nothing, but it really isn't that at all. And I think the one thing that I would recommend is, I know my family implements meatless Mondays, so just taking like one day or even one meal out of the week where you don't eat meat, I think that's a really good, easy step. Yeah.
I am so happy to meet you and to get to know you. This was such a fabulous interview, and I really appreciate you and your time coming here to talk to us about your experience. We are so lucky to have senior Sophia Richter here to share her experience of Costa Rica and her environmental science journey. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
For those of you at home, this couldn't happen without your donation, so we really appreciate all that you give to ensure that our students have these experiences. Thank you.
Thank you.